Oh, what's up, demons and demonettes? Tis I, Atraxi, a demon Queen, and today we're talking about Clashfronts. But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below. Now, the first thing you're gonna notice, obviously, is that this game looks a bit different. Gone is the 4 tiles in the center, and then the adjoining tiles between guilds on the outside. Instead, we have this new setup here, where we essentially have these lines that connect, whatever, gone is the grid format. Essentially, it's kind of the same thing, right? We have a connected tile here between us and this other guild, but then you're going to notice that each guild is going to have a free tile to the side, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this guild and this guild are going to have a contested tile, and then this guild and this guild are going to have a contested tile. Then you have these 2 tiles in the middle, and then the very middle tile, and you can see that these are worth 80. The contested ones are worth 100. The mid ones here are 200, and the very middle one here is 250. So if you can control this tile and this tile, essentially this becomes a free tile, shall we say. Alright, one change that I'll note off the bat is you'll notice there are 3 guilds and 1 contender guild. That's your bot guild. One change I would like to see is that when you do have a bot guilds in play, you have an equal number of player guilds to bot guilds, because as you could see, this guild here had to fight the contender here, and then they have like an easy path on this side, whereas kind of we're sandwiched in the middle and we don't have it, even though we're still winning. All right, let's take a look at the rewards now that we're done talking about the grid. Alright, again, you're going to have your various levels. You are going to have Namus, which is going to give you 5 stellars, 10 yellows, XP, and dust when you complete. Settlement rewards are okay, but they're not that great, right? You get some medallions. And then gone are your quests. They made it a little bit better, where you now get these basic deployment rewards. So every day you're going to get this just for deploying. And then for your grids, you are going to get some reds. And then just as you go up, these numbers are going to increase right at a depth. You're going to get more stellars, more yellows, more guild medallions for placing, and then more reds, and then some diamonds, depending on your deploy. Alright. For elite, you are going to again get more. You're going to now get some reds here. You're never going to get more than 10 stellars. You're going to get some more guild medallions here. And then if we scroll down below, you get a little bit more guild medallions here. Then you get some more reds and diamonds. Again, we're going to see this trend. Now, epic is where you get your first trophy. So this is going to be your bronze trophy here. Again, you're going to get your stellars, your reds. There's no real change in the rewards at the top other than you get this. And then you're going to get some increased rewards down below, right? Alright, then we go to Legendary. This is where you're going to get the title, and you're going to get the most reds here. You're also going to get the most guild medallions here, and reds here. Now, the difference between Legendary and Exalted, as you can see, is just the trophy here. You get the gold crest. I know for one, my guild and I will be going for the Exalted. Obviously, we want to be number 1, but top 4 will work just fine, because I do want this. This will look nice in the guild hall. Alright, so let's talk about the rules. Alright, the current Clashfront consists of 4 games. So, 1 game is a week. Each game is 5 rounds. So as you can see, we're already on round 5. So it started, I think, on Monday, so it goes Monday through Friday, it seems. Alright, so it works essentially just like the other one here. Guilds must be a level 2 or higher and have at least 10 members. You must join a guild before the first round's deployment. stage ended. Clashfront tiers from the lowest to highest: a novice, adept, elite, epic, legendary. Starting tiers: top 16 guilds in guild supremacy. For rankings, start at elite tier. All other guilds start at adept. For whatever reason, we started at adept tier and not elite. We should have started at elite, but it is what it is. Alright, promotion below legendary in each game. Top 2 guilds will be promoted to the higher tier, and all the other 2 will stay. So you don't get demoted, you just get promoted. A legendary tier after a guild tier game, the 4 guilds and the rankings are recognized as the exalted right. So you want to get to that legendary as quick as possible and try to rank as high as possible when you are in that legendary. Then you get to the exalted. Special fill-up rule: if the number of guilds in the elite tier or higher isn't a multiple of 4, the highest ranking guilds from the next lower tier will be promoted to fill the gap. Right? So that kind of like eliminates the need for the bots, but again, you still have the bots here in the first round, maybe due to a lack of guilds currently present on the server. Just because it is the Pioneer server, I don't think there's that many guilds. It is what it is. So yeah, so we ended up with bots. I think there should be an even number of bots to guilds. Each round has 3 stages: a deployment, prep, battle, right? Deployment, during the stage, you can deploy your teams of heroes to any battlefield adjacent to your guild's base camp, or any tile that you occupy. When the prep stage starts, the deployment details for all 4 guilds are revealed, and no further deployments can be made. Right, I don't know what the point of this is. I guess it just lets you know how everybody deployed, then it does the calc. You're gonna have 3 different types of battle. We'll talk about, you still get the Vanguard skirmish, the melee, and the new combat trial. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then you get ranked on your total points. Alright, so you got Vanguard skirmish. That works just like it did before. Anybody in the Vanguard, they get their 2 extra teams. Alright, the melee, that's just where everybody fights everybody. And then combat trial, it's just kind of like this tower type thing where you fight bots of increasing strength, and we'll go over that a little bit later. Endurance, that works just like last time. They just kind of like changed the animation. During each round's deployment stage, a treasure hamster may appear on the battlefield and start searching for treasure. 1 round later, a chest will be dug up containing a large amount of points. The guild that controls the battlefield with this chest will earn a large number of points. The chest remains on the battlefield for 2 rounds. We'll talk about that later. Alright, and we kind of already covered the rewards. So, let's talk about the map, and we'll go into some reporting, and we can look at the various rounds. So, it's round 1. Obviously, we grabbed the contested tile, and then you kind of get the free tile here. You still want to deploy units even to the free tile, because then you can get points from the combat trial. So if we go here and we take a look at this, so our Vanguard team automatically gets a win. The melee, you automatically win. So you're just going straight to the combat trial. So as you're going to see here, there's a bots. They're very weak at the beginning, but as we say, scroll down, and this is cumulative. This is not per player. This is just, they just get stronger over time. You're going to see eventually they're going to get to Paragon 4, Paragon 3, all the way down to the point where we're looking at bots that are full Paragon 4, plus 25, right? So they're very, very, very strong at the end. So that's one thing to consider. You're not going to get a ton of points there. Where you're going to get all your points is going to come from the melee. That's something to consider when deploying your squads. So you want to try to get like tiles that are going to be highly contested, or anticipate where other guilds are going to move, so that you can get involved in those big melees, right? So as you can see here, you know, we go here, then round 2, like here is ideal. You want to grab this, keep this, and keep this, right? So keep what you have, kind of grab what you can. I would just kind of like skip that tile too. That's not, this is the more important, right? Because you're talking 80 points here to 200 points here. So after round 2 is when the treasure hamster spawns. So you can see in round 3, we have the treasure hamster here. I just can't on him. All right, it just shows where he is. So once the treasure hamster pops, you want to make sure you can get that tile. That's just why having both middle tiles is nice, because then you can access any tile. So that let us access this tile, and then we go and conquer this tile. Why do you want the treasure hunter? Well, you see, these tiles are normally 100. With the hamster, it gets an additional 400. Now you look here, this is 200, 200, 250, but 500 for occupying this square. That's crazy. That's double the middle, right? So you want to hold this or any tile with the hamster. The hamster is just going to add 400, right? So holding on to this is big, right? So we're getting an extra 500 here from occupation, and then an extra 500 here from occupation. But as you can see, we're getting most of the points from the melee. So let's go in here and look, right? So you've got your, right, skirmish, melee. This is the combat trial. There's just a translation issue. You've got your occupation points, and then you've got this. It just doesn't show you where the treasure hunter, it adds the occupation points into the melee. So you figure if we take out the 500, that's still 600 plus points out of the melee, right? So you want some strong teams in here, strong comps to go up against players. You know, if you get the bots, it's an easy win, right? So just beating up the challenger squads is big because you're going to get a lot of points there, right? And you kind of can't control who you're going to fight when, so you could get whittled down by a bot here and then go up against a decent comp here, and your comp just gets crushed, right? So that's just how it's going to go. Again, everything's kind of even field here because we are on Pioneer. Everybody pretty much has Paragon 4 that's playing at this time. All right, so we go to the combat trial, and again, like I said, these get increasingly stronger. So you could get lucky. This person killed a ton, right? But by the time they got here, so by the time it gets to poor me, here I'm fighting Paragon 3, Paragon 4 type heroes, and I'm here, boom, I'm right off. I'm at full Paragon plus 25 here. I'm going against my team's just getting whittled down and beat up, right? Because then it shows you your fatigue and how much fatigue you're losing. Obviously, if you lose, it wipes out all of your fatigue. It looks like a win. You just lose 13. Alright, so that's kind of like it for that. So again, that's kind of like your basic strategy there, right? So grab these two, grab the contested tile here. So if like you're on here, you want to grab here, and then you want to grab these two, which gives just whole access to the board, and essentially gives you this tile as a free tile. So you probably want to wonder what we're running here. So like I said, you always want to have a control team. This is always good because unless you can usually factor against control, you're gonna have a hard time beating it. I don't know. It depends how many like Dunlingers are on your server, right? Because if there's not a whole lot of Dunlingers out there, you can run control probably very effectively against actual players and get a lot of kills off your control team. It's going to be very strong, especially how much control you go into it. We've got a cryo team, and then we've got a team that I just actually updated. So let's go ahead and we can take a look at our teams, right? So you're going to notice that, again, it's going to be based off your talent tile. So if you have double Wilder, that's going to be huge. You actually probably want to run 2 Wilder teams just because they're so strong. And then if you can, maybe a Celestial Hypogean type team here. So we're just going to swap that just to give deal that buff. We could drop our Ludovic. We're raiding Demon somewhere else, so we're just going to... oh, yeah, we got Smokey. Smokey's fine. He's going to buff everybody up. We're good. And we're just running kind of like Kalen as like a defense because normally in this team, this is where I would run Frayesto, but we're just going to run Kalen for his defense anyway. He's like a light version of Thorn and Frayesto, so he's very tanky. So we got our team here, and then we got our control team. Now, if I was in the Vanguard, I'd have to run 2 other teams, in which case I might run a Mauler team just because Maulers are still very, very strong for PvP, especially mine, and then maybe another, maybe a Light Bearer based team or something with, we would want to get our T-Lean in there at some point somehow, or we could do like a Greyborn, just kind of like comps you might use for Clashfronts, right, that are, or Crystal Clash, that are a little bit weaker, that you wouldn't run for your Supreme Arena teams. But here you could very much just run your 3 Supreme Arena teams, and then for your 2 other squads in the Vanguard, just kind of see what you have left over and build off of that. But it's always good to have a couple comps in reserve. So if we were to say, yank this, right? So I could run. So one of the squads, like maybe I run here, is the Graveborn comp. So we could just run like this.
Great materials are
Right, we could run something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And maybe we need a 5th. You could do Carolina. You could do Sylvina. She's very, very good for PvP, especially with this tile. So we could run something like this for one squad. If I had another one, let's see, we could run like Mauler. We're not gonna have her rock, so we could do 1, 2, 3. Usually I run Lily with this. No Lily, it means I could run, we would need like counterparts. Maybe we could run Alenia in here. Maybe we could run, Hugan here for extra support. We could run, some Misia here. She's always good for PvP. Counter control, you could try Sinbad. He would work really well with this squad. Again, he's a very powerful rogue. I don't think we use Scar anywhere. We could throw in our Scar, and maybe we could make something work with Taylene. Although it would be pretty rough with this squad. So, those are just some ideas for some comps. Again, there's a ton of comps you can run. TNT is very strong. I ran TNC, which is Tassie and Cryo. Or that would be CNT, because it's, well, no, it's Tassie and Taylene, so it would be, you could do CNT, you could do, it just sounds wrong, so we'll just say TNC. Yeah, so I think that's it for this one. That kind of, like, covers everything. You'll just kind of, like, come in here and click and get your daily rewards. Again, everything kind of caps out at 600, normal type equipment rules and all that type stuff apply. And that's it for this one. Good luck in your Clashfronts, and I hope you guys can get Exalted. If not, just get to Legendary and worry about getting your rewards. Bye!